And we're live here on my cellular phone. This is another cool little thing that Spreaker does. They allow you to record live from your phone or mobile device, wherever you are and whatever you can do. This is fantastic. So I was stricken by a quick blurb that I read, or that I found on YouTube actually. Opie from the Opie and Anthony show, who was just recently fired from SiriusXM, is going to be doing a podcast with someone called the Mad Cuban. I don't know who the fuck that is, but Opie from the Opie and Anthony show, Opie from Opie and Anthony fame, recently got shit canned from SiriusXM, which was about, 2 years too late, in my opinion. And so he goes on, now he's going to have a podcast. It's going to follow in the footsteps of Anthony Cumia. Now that he's turned his back on everybody who ever supported him, he's basically talked himself out of being able to work with anybody, Anthony or Jimmy or Sam Roberts or anybody from that whole show. He's basically run out of bridges. He's burned them all behind him, and now he's going to try and do a podcast with the Mad Cuban. My take on it, Opie is, well, in other words, Greg Hughes. Opie is not the most talented. I mean, he's a decent MC. He's funny at times, but, there are a lot of people out there like me who are extremely talented, who can come up with shows right off the top of their head, just like I'm doing right now about Opie, without any show prep, without any notes, without anything, and I can be interesting. Opie is not interesting. He's a walking meh. That's all he is. He's a walking meh. And he's terrible on the radio. I mean, okay, maybe not terrible. It does take a lot of brain power and it does take a lot of gumption and moxie, I guess you could say, to be on the radio. But Opie is not going to carry a podcast. He can't carry a podcast. He's going to be awful. He's going to fail. Without guys like Jim Norton or Anthony Cumia around him, he's just a record-spinning jock. That's all he is. Anthony Cumia made him. Anthony Cumia made him who he is. Jimmy Norton added to this whole menagerie of Opie and Anthony goodness. In fact, it should really be Anthony with guest cuck Opie in the side seat. My point is, even though I try not to wish anybody ill, I have to call it as I see it. Opie Radio is dead. Opie is going to fail. Unless he starts spinning records again, he won't even ever collect a paycheck in the radio industry, while people like me toil in hot cars trying to get listeners.